Hi there, welcome to the UkeStuff channel and welcome to this tutorial video for the play-along videos of Reindeers Are Better Than People from the original Frozen. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to look at the chords you need for GCEA soprano concert or tenor ukulele in two different keys, the key of C or the key of D. And then we'll look at the chords you need for the song in with baritone ukulele, DGBE ukulele, in its original key of D. Now, then after we're done with that, we'll look at strumming, which is just basically single strums throughout the entire thing. So that'll be a very quick part of the video. But if you want to jump ahead to parts of the video that matter to you, there are chapters below, and you can also pull up a chapter list here on YouTube as well. If you want to support the channel, there are three things you can do. First of all, you can subscribe to the channel. Second, you can like this video. And third, you can always buy me a coffee to say thank you for making this content at buymeacoffee.com/UkeStuff. While this channel is monetized, as I record this video, it makes about $30 a month. And way more time than that goes into it. So anything that people send in is great, and it actually probably does go to support my coffee habit. All right, so let's begin with the chords you need for GCEA soprano concert tenor ukulele in the key of C. I'll be using this instrument. This is my outdoor ukulele, soprano ukulele. It's called Bottle Brown. It's made out of polycarbonate. They do make also a version with some carbon fiber mixed in as well. All right, so the first chord is the F chord. Then there's a B flat chord. Now this is a partial bar chord, and in the key of C, it's the hardest chord you'll have to play. It doesn't happen very often in the song, but the song is short. So what you'll want to do is put your first finger across strings 1 and 2 right above the first fret. It's a little hard to see with the brown. The frets are not painted or anything. So you'll put your first finger there and pull against the fretboard, and that will give you most of the sound that you need. And then you just add your thumb a little bit for a little bit of support. You don't have to have a ton of strength there. Now, just as a side note with that, this part of the ukulele is called the nut, and it keeps the strings, number one, where they're at, but then it also keeps them a certain height off of the fretboard. On ukuleles other than this, because this is built in and set up perfectly every time, that's one of the joys of the outdoor ukulele. Other companies too, like the Flight Travel ukuleles, the Magic Flukes, where you have a plastic-based fretboard, that makes it very easy. And Yanova, for example, another one. But anyway, if you have a normal ukulele without that plastic deal, and it's just a plastic nut or a bone nut, that can be adjusted down so that you don't have to press very hard here. If you don't know how to do it though, I would suggest taking it to a luthier and having it checked, because again, you don't want it to be able to press too hard. And the farther you have to press down, the more you pull strings out of tune from when they're in tune. So there's a lot of reasons to make sure that your action is well set up. If your ukulele was just simply bought off the internet, chances are action might be too high, might be harder for you to play than you need to, and you'd be playing out of tune as a result. So always see if you can buy an ukulele from someone that will set it up from you, have somebody that can set it up from you, or take it to a luthier who will set it up for you for a cost, but it's money well spent. All right, so you've got those two notes. Then we add 2 more fingers to it, and you've got your B flat chord. So it doesn't require a ton of force if you're playing it right and pulling against the fretboard. You almost even need to use your thumb at all if you need to, if you're playing it right and pulling against the fretboard and letting leverage work for you. Okay, the next chord is the G chord, the C chord, the C7 chord, the E minor chord, one of my favorite chords. First finger goes on the first string's 2nd fret, and then the other 2 fingers go down like a waterfall. That's what I always tell my students. Then D minor chord, which is an F chord with an extra finger. Then an A chord, an A minor chord, a D chord. There are different ways to play D. I always put my first finger at the top of the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and my other 2 fingers around it. Some people will play all 3 fingers in a row of 1, 2, 3. Some people will play fingers 2, 3, 4. Some people will use 2 fingers. Some people will use 1 finger. Just don't reach over and play it with your thumb. And then the final chord is the A minor 7, which has no fingers. on the fretboard at that point. And those are the chords you need to play. Reindeers Are Better Than People on soprano, GCEA, concert GCEA, tenor GCEA, ukulele in the key of C. Now let's talk about the chords in the key of D for this instrument. Okay, in the key of D, we'll be using again my outdoor ukulele, soprano, bottle brown. In the key of D, here are the chords you need for GCEA soprano concert or tenor ukulele. The first chord is the G chord, then a C chord, then an A chord, and then a D chord. Now, how you play D is up to you. I usually put my first finger at the top of the third string's second fret and my other two fingers around it like an upside down V. Some people will play it with fingers 1, 2, and 3 like many of the chord charts show. Some people will play it with fingers 2, 3, 4. Some people will play it with fingers 1 and 2. Some people will play it with one finger. Just don't reach around and play it with your thumb. The next chord is the Hawaiian D7 chord, which isn't really a D7 at all. It's okay, but that's the chord that most people use because we don't want to have to use a bar chord there. And then related very closely to that is the F sharp minor chord. Now, the F sharp minor, if you're not familiar with it, it's just like the G7, which you probably are familiar with, but just up one set of strings. So instead of being G7 on strings 1, 2, and 3, it's G7 on strings 4, 3, and 2. That's your F minor chord. Then, one of my favorite chords, the E minor chord, I put my first finger on the first string's second fret and let the other two fingers walk down. Then we have a couple of bar chords, and we're going to walk through these. So, for a bar chord, what you're going to do is you're going to put your first finger across all 4 strings, and this is going to be right across the second fret. Then what you're going to do is support lightly with your thumb. So pull against the fretboard, support lightly with your thumb, and then we're going to add 2 fingers right here to make the B chord. Now, don't go too far because you've done most of the work for the B chord. Take away this finger now, and you've just got the bar chord plus the third finger playing the 4th string 3rd fret, actually 4th fret, 4th string 4th fret. That's now the B minor chord because we just took off one finger. Now, the next chord in the song that we'll need is the E chord, and this is where you have a couple of options. Now, do you remember how earlier in the video I talked about some people playing the D chord with fingers 2, 3, and 4? Well, if you do that at the 4th fret and then play the first string 2nd fret with your first finger, there it is. You can do that. Now, as you can tell, that's not how I normally play that chord. I usually use 2 fingers. I play 2, 3, and 4, strings 2, 3, and 4 with my 3rd finger, like with this banana shape, and I get a bend in it, and then I just play it with my first finger. So I play the first finger like this, and then I use a partial bar, not touching that first string because I'm bending my finger like that to get that E chord. And then the last chord you need is the B minor 7. That's that same bar chord again, but without any other fingers. And those are the chords to play Reindeers Are Better Than People on soprano, concert, or tenor GCE ukulele in the key of D. Now let's talk about baritone. For baritone, I'll be using this instrument. This is my mainland baritone. It is a cedar top and rosewood back and sides. The first chord is the G chord. The second chord is the C chord. And we've got the A chord. And then the D chord. Then the D7. Then really one of the hard chords here, the F sharp minor chord. You're going to bar. So you're going to take your first finger, lay it across all 4 strings right above the middle 2nd fret, and pull against the fretboard. That'll give you most of the sound you need, then you just lightly support with your thumb. Then, with your 4th finger, play the 4th string 4th fret. That's your F sharp minor chord. Then we get an E minor chord. Then we're going to get the B chord. Now, how are you going to play the B chord? There are 2 ways to do it. You can put fingers 2, 3, and 4 on strings 4, 3, and 2 on the 4th fret, and then play the first string with the first finger 2nd fret. That'll work. I usually try to do it like this. I take my 4th finger and I bend it like this so I can cover strings 2, 3, and 4, and then I play the first string with my first finger. So I put my first finger here, first string, second fret, and then I bar across, but have that bend in my finger at the 4th fret, strings 2, 3, and 4. That's your B chord. Then we'll have the B minor chord. For this one, you're probably going to want to do something like this, which is put the first finger on the first string, 2nd fret, second finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, third finger on the 4th string, 4th fret, and pinky on the 3rd string, 4th fret. I think that's going to be the most comfortable B minor chord. Then we have the E chord, and then finally the B minor 7, which looks a lot like the D chord, missing one note. And those are the chords you need to play Reindeers Are Better Than People on baritone DGBE ukulele in the key of D. Now let's quickly talk about strumming because there's not a whole lot more to say. Now as we talk about strumming, for the most part, most songs, there's no one singular right answer, but on this song, really thumb strums will work most of the time. And I wish I could sing along with it, but if I do, then this song gets copyright matched. And if it gets copyright matched, Disney takes all of the monetization of this video. So unfortunately, I cannot sing with the song. So it would go something like this. Looking at the key of D, since that's one that we have for both baritone and GCEA ukuleles, it would sound something like this. See what I'm saying? So it's just thumb strums all the way through, following the indicator. And that's all you really need to do with it. And by the way, that D7 may be easiest to play just by lifting off the first finger. Always try to find the easiest path to the next chord. Just because you've learned a chord a certain way doesn't mean you have to play it a certain way in the song. All right, so with that, thumb strums all the way through, and that long list of chords for such a short song, that's all you need to do to be successful on Reindeers Are Better Than People from Frozen. All right, thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll be back soon with some more Uke stuff for you.